Let me touch up which are the bad fats currently which are using. We all know vanaspati is bad, and all those margarine, the fake butter which is available, but those spreads, please don't use them. Dump all the refined seed oils, corn oil, soybean oil, sunflower, safflower, cottonseed, grapeseed, rice bran oil, canola oil. I call canola as canola. It's spawning the world. And those palm oil, we do not use them. And I, reading all the data and everything, and possibly aligning with the thoughts, we believe that in India, the biggest dietary culprit is the fat which we are using. And this is primarily one of the difference between our ancestors and us. And this is really causing a lot of disease in us. So you need to just change the fat. And let me tell you that many of you will actually notice a difference if you change your oil or fat in your home, and you go back to this particular ghee, butter, and coconut oil. And ghee and butter you can take. And I know that again in India, for those who don't want to go for low carb ketogenic, the contentious issue is we don't use coconut oil. We may not be able to use ghee butter. Okay. So the other two oils which we have is many of us have been using groundnut oil, mustard oil, or sesame oil, or til oil. So maybe you can use that in very small quantity, cold pressed. However, it is not really recommended because their omega-6 ratio is very high. However, you can go for this only if you cannot go for this good fat. However, we don't recommend. From my side, no, we don't recommend this. And which are the good carbohydrate food? All the non-starchy vegetables. You can have them in abundance. There is absolutely no problem. This is a primarily vegetarian country, and we can get as much fresh vegetables as we want. Now, you must be curious, what fruits do we use? We have to avoid all the high sugar fruits. So you can use low sugar like berries. They are all seasonal, of course, strawberry, raspberry, blueberry. Those who can afford, avocados. In fact, you'll be surprised to know that the other fruits which are also included in this is even lemon is a fruit, and you'll be surprised to know that even coconut is a fruit. Uh, Even bell pepper is also a fruit for that matter. Though we put it as vegetable, it's also a low sugar fruit. Star fruit is available in some places you can take. So those who want to follow a strict ketogenic, they can use this. And those who are in LCHF range, maybe they can use a low sugar fruit once in a while. We are so used to having roti rice, so what do we do? For psychological satisfaction, we need to have some replacement. So many of us, they also use what is called as keto roti, made from keto flour. They make it from, let's say, almond, coconut flour, psyllium husk, and you can see the image on the right. Uh, some people also use poly rice. See, either you can get, we don't recommend those ready ones which are available in store. You can actually make it at home with cauliflower. Head towards YouTube, you will find a lot of people sharing how to make poly rice and how to make this keto roti. So if at all you want to make keto roti, don't buy those ready keto rotis which is available. I suggest you buy this individually. Buy almond, coconut, and psyllium nuts separately, and then mix them at your. What about sweets? So personally, I enjoy Shrikhand every day. I make it from hung curd, and I add up stevia, and I add up some of those Indian spices. I add up saffron, cardamom, and maybe a small amount of pista, and I just enjoy every day. We can also make laddus from seeds along with ghee and stevia. Homemade chocolate with raw unprocessed cocoa butter, nuts using stevia refractor. Many of us make, and even I make at home. And there are some good stuff available. Keto cake made with almond flour. Again, head to YouTube, and you will be able to find a lot of recipes step by step on how to make. And if you can source a good one, yes, you will be able to get a good one like this keto pantry. Sometimes I do order. It's a genuine one because I've tested it using blood sugar meter and using a ketone meter. They're absolutely safe. We can also make, if we are very creative, good cook, we can make keto bread and cookies along with again the same base almond flour and the coconut flour. Best is we can make rasgulla with paneer and using stevia erythritol. So this is something which is very easy to make. Instead of sugar, just add stevia. So broadly, friends, so we don't miss anything. So few data points is Indian diet is actually, if you see, it is protein deficient. 80% of the Indians are protein deficient as per statistics. we don't reach the recommended dietary allowance of 0.8 gram per kg body weight. RDA is recommended for the basic survival. It is not for thriving, mind you. It is basic for survival. We don't even reach this. And let me tell you that most non-vegetarians in this country are actually vegetarians for at least 5 to 6 times a week. They have non-veg only once or twice a week. So the protein load given among them is very less. In fact, you will be surprised to know that Indians consume less than 1 egg per day, as per an article which has appeared in National Geographic Law. Protein and fats actually have a very good satiety effect, but which is messed up by this high carb consumption. So if we can just build up protein in our diet, automatically the intake of carbohydrate will come down and we'll be able to reach our goal very soon. So the fear, what is the effect on lipids or cholesterol, liver, kidney, heart? Everyone will say this will damage. And let me tell you that it is on the contrary. Low carb ketogenic can actually reverse all this. It has beneficial effect on lipids or cholesterol. It is one of the best dietary strategy for resolving fatty liver. No negative effect on kidney, and provides ketone, which is considered as a super fuel for heart. Why heart? It's super fuel for brain, super fuel for kidney, as well as all the end organs. It is there, and this is well documented. It is there in the literature, so no one can deny this. This is just one study I am quoting among hundreds of studies, which shows the positive effect on all the parameters. This they have compared low-fat diet along with low carb. So what you see on the yellow is actually low carbohydrate diet, and what you see on the red color or maroon or all, that is actually high carb diet. And you can see the reduction in all the parameters. So whether it is body mass, abdominal fat, reduction in glucose, reduction in insulin, HOMA-IR, leptin, triglyceride, and even reducing, let us say, ApoB. Everything is massive and powerful with low carb diet. In fact, you will see on the left part, the HDLC. It is only low carb diet which can increase HDLC. HDLC is known as the good cholesterol. So I think all of us know what is good cholesterol. I'll also come to the bad cholesterol part. So HDL is increased only with low carb, whereas you will see with low fat diet actually it slightly goes down. Now what about LDL? Now LDL is said to be the bad cholesterol. Now many of us do not know at our level that it is also comprising of many sub-fractions. There's something called as large fluffy LDL and something called as small dense LDL. In fact, large fluffy LDL is actually beneficial, and the small dense LDL is said to be bad for the heart. And you will see with low carb diet, the small dense LDL actually it will actually go down. You can see in this, it actually goes down, whereas it actually goes up in the low fat diet, sadly. But we don't measure this, so we don't know. So this overall proves that low carb diet is very highly effective in correcting all this. We are all afraid of kidney. Okay, high protein diet will damage kidney. First of all, let me tell you that this is not a high protein diet. It is called as moderate protein. So this is just one of the paper. Okay, this is just one of the paper which has shown that even a little higher protein intake has absolutely no detrimental effect on the kidney function. In fact, studies have shown even up to 3 grams per kg body weight is very safe. Their patients have normal, the population has normal kidney function. If there is a kidney disease, then they need to lower down protein and go as per doctor's recommendation. But for any individual with normal kidney function, they need not be afraid of this 1.5 gram per kg body weight. Absolutely, very safe. If someone is doing some resistance exercise and everything, they can as well go slightly upwards. And still, if you are afraid, please at least go to 1 gram per kg body, at least minimal. At least this much we should be able to. This itself is going to be a challenging, my dear friends. This study published in March 2020, again, which shows that reversing the fatty liver. This is just one study. If you go to it is just filled with a lot of studies. But however, we never read this. We may read the other way. people might just give their opinion that it will damage their kidney. And those who give this opinion, it is just, let me tell you, it is so. And there are some studies, yes, which shows that high fat diet also damages. But if you really go inside the literature, you will see these are first of all mice study. They have used rodents in this. Secondly, what they fed them is hydrogenated soybean oil. You will be surprised to know that they feed them these rodents with mice with this bad fat, and then they will say that the high fat diet causes uh, uh, liver damage. Surprising. These are all rigged studies to deter us from this. So for this, we need to read data. We just need to go inside and then see what kind of stuff they have used. Not only these rats are also fed with high amount of sucrose, high amount of other sugar-based diet, plus high amount of hydrogen. Sometimes they will say that we have used coconut oil, but if you really go and see inside, you will see they have mentioned hydrogenated coconut oil. So this is rigged to such an extent, we cannot just imagine to what kind of rigging they will do. So we just need to see the other side of this. So there must be a question, all of us must be having that. Uh, why suddenly low carb diet, while our forefathers always, were in a slightly higher carb diet, they never face any issue. But let me tell you, if you really go and interact with your grandparents, you will actually find that traditionally they used to have, first of all, only 2 to 3 meals a day, and there were a lot of fastings involved. And then there was the traditional way of cooking. Do we all realize how rice was cooked? They used to cook it in a sort of big vessel and then drain off the water, thereby draining off the excess starch. This starch were fed to either the cattle or they will use to uh, they will soak their cotton clothes and they will use it as a starch. Whereas now we use pressure cooker, so we take all those starches also additional. They used to have 2.5 meals, whereas now we have 3 major meals and we also have multiple snacks. So this is the basic difference. That is, they at least had some extent of time restricted feeding, whereas we just don't have. The other surprising thing which many of you may not know is that modern wheat, which is highly hybridized form. If you can see on the right, you can see here, the old wheat was something called as long wheat or emmer wheat, whereas the modern wheat is mutant form. It is highly hybridized, and then it contains a lot of toxins which our human bodies cannot assimilate. So we tend to face a lot of issues with this. A lot of gluten, gliadin, the other kind of harmful proteins are actually increased. The amount of amylopectin is a kind of carbohydrate, it's a complex carbohydrate. They have increased to massive extent in the modern wheat. But then they have hybridized this so that they will get a very high yield, so that we are benefited, the farmers are benefited. However, the general population is not benefited. They used to use a good amount of freshly cooked fibrous vegetable. Again, our intake may have reduced possibly. Uh, when we go and take junk food, pizza, pasta, so we are going to actually we are going to avoid this. Very rare intake of processed food. Just ask them how much biscuits they used to have. For us, biscuits now it's very common. We feel it is very healthy biscuit, very safe. And the biggest factor which are highlighted in the bottom is they were using cold pressed traditional oils and fat instead of this modern chemically treated and processed seeds. And let me tell you that these are all the studies which says that this canola oil is safe, it is very good, it will reduce cholesterol. They're all rigged studies, and I suggest this is something which you can do immediately. You can do right from today. And we all know this current diet high in refined carb, processed food, sugary products, common. Lays, Oreo biscuits, all those namkeens which we have. We feel namkeen. Yes, my grandfather also used to have namkeen. Why I can't have?